some have asked me to say, who are you? Who is Greg Hughes? Just by way of background, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My mother was a single mom. I lived with my mother and my grandmother and my aunt. And I was probably, as we talk about public education, we talk about at-risk kids, or what we call Title I kids, and those are kids born in a certain household income. I was probably one of those Title I kids growing up, and my mother worked very hard, but times seemed to always be pretty challenging or tough. But I think that for me, at least growing up, has left me with valuable perspective and a deep appreciation for the struggles that people go through, that I went through, that my mother, my late mother, went through herself. Was fortunate enough to go through school, meet certain people that were involved in, of all things, politics. And when I graduated from high school, I was a bellhop at the Sheraton and had a friend whose mother was working on the then Vice President of the United States, George W. Bush, Herbert Walker Bush's campaign, and I had an interest, and I thought it'd be fun to maybe get involved a little more, and discovered a passion, not just for campaigns and elections, but for public policy, and that I cared about things that were bigger than myself. So why did I run for office back in 2002? Well, as I've mentioned, I kind of came upon politics, campaigns and elections, public policy right out of high school, and found that I had a great interest in those things. And upon moving to Utah, pursued those interests and worked on congressional campaigns and involved myself in politics to some degree as I was going to school. Started a small business with my business partner. It's the business that I own and operate today. Started raising this young family of mine, and when I was 32, there was a state house seat that was open. The person that was representing the district I lived in was moving on to run for a different office. And so as it was an open seat, I talked to my business partner, I spoke with my wife, and I said, this whole legislative thing, it's just 45 calendar days, it's not that much time, and I could probably fit it in with everything else. And so I decided to run. In that time of my legislative service, education, young family, I have young children. Education is the biggest issue I think we grapple with here at the legislature. It's certainly the one that receives the most of our state dollars. I have a passion for public education and getting that right, and working hard for our kids. And so I was lucky enough to be able to serve on our Education Standing Committee in my first term. I ultimately served as the chair of our House Education Standing Committee for 2 terms. As time went on, I was able to serve as our House Majority Whip in a House leadership position for 2 years, and then last year was elected or selected by my colleagues to serve as Speaker of the House. So now I've bored you over the biography, why I want to do this little communication the way we're doing it. But here's the teaser. Tune into the next one now that we got all the boring stuff out of the way, and I'll tell you everything that you ever wanted to know about BYU and the University of Utah and this rivalry that supposedly nobody wants to play anymore. How's that for a teaser?
So that's the next one?
No, it's just a teaser. I'll say, remember how I told you that? Tune in again. I'll tell you what that one is next time around.